Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored Never Boring. It's that time of year again, the time when Games Workshop teases another round of what I call their bookshelf games. Those games that all come in the same bookshelf sized boxes, are intended for casual board gamers rather than the hardened hobbyists, and are generally only available in selected retailers. This time around, we have 3 new games to look at, and by new I mean 1 new edition of an existing game, 1 new edition of a reskin of an existing game, and 1 rehash of an existing game system. Anyone who follows my channel probably knows that I am a big fan of different iterations of all of these new games, but there's one in particular that should get me more excited than the rest. Should. But here we go. First up is Blitz Bowl Ultimate Edition. Blitz Bowl is simply put, flipping brilliant. For me, it blows Blood Bowl right out of the dugout. I wouldn't even consider playing Blood Bowl now I have Blitz Bowl on my shelf, and this new Ultimate Edition is promising to be the best one yet. I should imagine they have streamlined and clarified the rules, and I would hope it also includes all of the extra teams and balls that were included in the previous edition. The major difference is that in the first edition the included teams were humans and orcs, in the second edition the teams were humans and dwarves, and this time around the included teams are humans, surprise, and Skaven. The models are push fit, which will help you get the game to the table quickly. But I don't really have much more to say about this one. I have done a small amount of coverage of Blitz Bowl on the channel, including a playthrough if you want to know more about it. The second game is Combat Arena. This is the second edition of Combat Arena, which was itself a reskin of Gore Chosen, which is a game I own and really enjoy. It's a simple skirmish game with up to 4 combatants in a small hex-based arena fighting to be the last warrior standing. Gore Chosen was awesome, silly, brutal fun, and while I've never played Combat Arena, I should imagine it's much the same. It's worth noting that the first edition of Combat Arena reused miniatures from a Blackstone Fortress expansion. This time around it uses easy build miniatures from a variety of sources. First you get a Necron Royal Warden and a Primaris Lieutenant, obviously, both from the Recruit edition of the 40k starter set. Next you get a Terminator with Thunderhammer and Storm Shield, which is from Season 2 of the Space Marine Heroes line, and which previously turned up in Space Marine Adventures Rise of the Orcs. The final miniature is from the 3rd season of the Space Marine Heroes line and is a Death Guard Plague Marine. This is the first time any of the 3rd season heroes have popped up in a game. I always hoped they would make a Death Guard themed Space Marine Adventures game with them. But again, not much more to say about this one. I have reviewed Gore Chosen on the channel if you want to check it out and discover a bit more about how the game plays. The last of the 3 games is Warhammer Quest Lost Relics. Yup, a new edition of Warhammer Quest, only this time it's a small scale version designed for pick up and play half-hour games. Sounds like a neat idea. Who doesn't want a quick filler dungeon crawler, especially one incorporating the rules of a tried and tested game system that is always fun. Only, Games Workshop gonna Games Workshop. At the moment, we don't really know exactly how the game is going to play, but what we can see is that it appears to be taking a bizarre step back in time to an older iteration of the current Warhammer Quest rules. So here's the thing. For me, a game like this would ideally do 2 things. 1, it would be an awesome little game in its own right, but 2, it would be a mini expansion for the proper Warhammer Quest line. For example, it would be great to be able to take the 4 new heroes and throw them straight into Cursed City. But that doesn't look like it's going to be possible. Of course, no standalone game has any obligation to be compatible with any other product, but it's always nice when you can get more mileage out of something, and as I'm sure a lot of people will be considering buying this as some kind of expansion, I thought I would spend a moment talking about that. For a start, the game isn't using the Cursed City game system. It appears to be using the system from Silver Tower and Shadows over Hammerhal, or at least a stripped down version of it. I don't see any custom dice, suggesting that combat resolution will be resolved with a good old-fashioned D6, and looking at the character cards it appears that they have gone back to just 3 profile stats, move, save and agility, and are once again using numeric values for them. Furthermore, because it's a condensed game designed to play in half an hour or so, it looks as though heroes only get 3 activation dice per turn instead of 4, which means they aren't an immediate shoe-in for use in Silver Tower either. Converting these heroes for the earlier editions of Warhammer Quest may be as simple as giving them a 4th activation dice to use each turn, but if they have been balanced around 3, then there might be more to it than that. We will have to wait and see. As far as the board tiles go, they aren't going to be as immediately useful for homebrew dungeons as people might have hoped for either. Rather than including individual rooms, the game has several boards each depicting a number of rooms and corridors, and it appears as though a dungeon comprises 3 such boards connected by doors. As a result, layouts are only semi-random, like the campaign layout for a game of Labyrinth of the Necrons. Of course, because the game is supposed to be compact and relatively inexpensive, there are no enemy models that you can port across to other Warhammer Quest games either. Looking at it from the other direction, at first glance I did think that if you had a copy of Silver Tower, you would already have all the miniatures you need to replace the tokens in this game, but it looks as though you will need at least some Clan Rat minis too. Oh, and the miniatures that are included are Stormcast Eternals. You get the Knight Incantor miniature that was on the Getting Started with Age of Sigmar book, and a set of the Stormcast from the Underworld's Harrowdeep starter set. As a quick aside, the Harrowdeep Stormcast set is a really good choice for a party of heroes, because you have your leader warrior type with a lantern, your archer, and a tanky fellow with a hammer. Throw in the Knight Incantor and you have a magic user too. On the whole, while Lost Relics does look like it might be a fun little game, it continues the trend of the Warhammer Quest line of making it as difficult as possible to mix and match components to homebrew your own scenarios. People expecting a mini expansion for Cursed City, or maybe just the ability to port Cursed City characters and monsters into Lost Relics to increase replayability, may be disappointed. From my personal standpoint, I'm not immediately seeing any reason to buy any of these. I am more than happy with my copies of Blitz, Bowl and Gorechosen, and if I want to play Warhammer Quest, I think I would rather sink my teeth into the full experience. I have other options for lighter dungeon crawling games. Besides, there's a good chance I won't be able to pick these up easily anyway. These games are always limited to specific stores and are commonly only available in America and Germany. Some of the more recent releases also turned up in game stores in the UK, allegedly, but that's not a given, and the article announcing these new games on the Warhammer Community page doesn't specify which territories they will be available in or when they are coming out. I did a bit of digging around, and comments made by Games Workshop on Twitter don't help much either, although they do not openly rule out a UK release at the very least. It's one of those we will let you know where they will be available when we know type situations. But if they aren't available everywhere, and there's a very good chance that even if places like the UK do get them, countless other countries will still miss out, well, let's just say I know that Cursed City is going back into print later this year, but some people still aren't happy about that situation, and a little mud has stuck to the Warhammer Quest name. If Games Workshop have then created another Warhammer Quest game and made it a limited release only available in certain territories, they must just really love salt baths at Games Workshop HQ. I mean, I know these games are planned and go into production well in advance of when we ever hear about them, but if the follow-up to a Warhammer Quest game that's impossible for some people to get is to release another Warhammer Quest game that's impossible for some people to get, it's just bad optics really. But let's not imagine the worst, and when they release more about dates and where you can get the games, I will create another video. For now, I will just ponder the biggest question. Where's the next Space Marine Adventures game? When will I ever get around to buying Doomsday Countdown for that matter? But that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so. And hopefully, I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.